At Bow News Network, we are serious about the weather. Are you ready? Your Bow to the Weather report starts now. Welcome back to Bow News Network. We are actually working on our latest update for you. As you probably already heard, the tropical cyclone 3 has been upgraded to tropical storm Claudette as it made landfall somewhere in the region between Biloxi, Mississippi, and the Florida Panhandle, as we anticipated based on our previous forecast earlier. We are tracking several weather events, not only Tropical Storm Claudette, but Tropical Storm Dolores, which is just off the coast of Mexico. It's going to be probably making landfall very shortly with very, very high winds, 60-mile per hour winds. So we're going to take a closer look at what's actually occurring with Tropical Storm Claudette. We actually have a tornado watch. Tornado watch number 285 is in effect, and we can clearly see that this system is going to be migrating eventually off to the into the Atlantic, but that will not occur until possibly 7 a.m. on Monday, and there's a good chance that it's going to strengthen as it interacts with the coastline of North Carolina. So it may be, we anticipate it will be a depression, 7 a.m. on Sunday, right along the Alabama-Georgia border. Right now, its maximum sustained winds are 40 miles per hour. Pressure is 1007 millibars. Locations approximately 31.8 north, 88.6 west, and moving north-northeast at 14 miles per hour. The critical thing to remember here is that this entire area is prone to flash flooding, and also we have a tornado advisory. The situation as far as the type of weather is pretty severe. We can clearly see, based on our Doppler radar imagery here, we can clearly see the system moving its way through along the border of Alabama near to the Florida Panhandle, and this is a tornado advisory for the next few hours. So we are constantly watching here at the National Weather Service what is actually going to be happening with this system as it makes its way through. In some regions, it's actually 2 to 3 inches per an hour of rain that we have been spotting on one of our forecasting models for the Doppler radar. But the situation is pretty grim, as this entire area is basically under a coastal flash flood warning watch, along with a tornado watch. Even though the winds are below hurricane strength, many of the residents we do have local spotter reports of gusting winds 50-60 miles per hour, which is just under the cutoff for a Category 1 hurricane. So tropical storm force winds on a higher level, definitely for sure, but we are very, very close to experiencing severe thunderstorms, possibly tornadoes touching down in the region, and you can see from our forecasting model that it's pretty very, very saturated area for possibly flash flood advisories. When we take a look at what's actually happening with Tropical Storm Dolores, that system, maximum sustained winds of 60 miles an hour off the coast of Mexico. Pressure is actually lower than Tropical Storm Claudette. Pressure is 996 millibars. That Tropical Storm Dolores is located at 19.5 north, 103.9 west, moving north-northwest at 16 miles per hour. We anticipate that it will have impact very, very heavy rains for the states in Mexico, such as Colima, Jalisco, Sinaloa, as well as Guerrero. And we're going to be monitoring that system. Very, very powerful cyclonic formation for this tropical storm. So we are experiencing almost a double or triple whammy as far as severe weather. You can see at the area for just above the region in the in the Central Plains states, we do have another system that is actually impacting the region there in near St. Louis, Missouri, and Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois. So we have a lot to cover in this weather update simply because there is a lot happening, and we're actually going to take a closer look at also the fire weather outlook as the temperatures heat up in the region of the southwest. So just speaking of temperatures, we can see the severity of some of the temperatures across the continental United States, most notably in the southwest, where temperatures 112 in Yuma, Arizona, 114 for Phoenix. These are maximum temperatures anticipated for today on Saturday. Along the border of Mexico, Arizona, 102. And we've seen an elevation of the temperatures for Central California, 114, 113. Many of the reservoirs are actually running well below capacity at this time. We have already highlighted in previous forecasts that we are concerned about the relatively low capacity of Lake Mead as well as Lake Powell. Those reservoirs are somewhere around 33 to 34% capacity, and it's going to severely impact availability of water allocations for farmers in the region of New Mexico as well as Arizona and Utah. It's going to be a significant environmental crisis if we continue to drop in capacity of these reservoirs. But as we can see from central Texas, temperatures are in the 90s. Kansas is very rare with high temperatures, 102 in Kansas. Across the southeast is very is saturated, as of course as a result of tropical storm Claudette moving through. We do see temperatures in the mid 70s. But if we return to South Florida, we see we take a look at South Florida, we see temperatures like almost 100 degrees in the region of Jacksonville and Daytona Beach. So we do see escalating temperatures across the United States, and that actually brings us to our fire watch, fire weather outlook. The situation at the Four Corners is very, very critical. One of the main threats that we see are these dry thunderstorms with dry lightning strikes, which are going to increase the likelihood of wildfire risk in the region. And we do see that winds will be picking up ahead of a trough in the northern Rockies, and that will be an increased fire risk near the region of Snake River Valley in Idaho. So as far as the severe weather outlooks are concerned, we of course are looking at that tornado watch in the region of along the Alabama-Georgia border going into Augusta and Atlanta. So we do have a marginal threat zone for New York, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, Indianapolis, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, and Denver, Colorado, and then a slight risk for elevated risk for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Kansas City, Missouri, and Cleveland, Ohio. As far as the weather is concerned, we are going to continue monitoring basically three different zones. We can clearly see that there's a low pressure trough that's actually moving across eastern Wyoming, and ahead of that, we do see that there's going to be higher clouds. We do see higher cloud cover in the region of Ohio into Pennsylvania region, which is going to limit the amount of severe tropical storms in that region. But as far as severe daytime heating as well as low level moisture in central Colorado into southeast Wyoming, and that will actually spread down to southwest Nebraska and northeast Kansas. So we do see that low pressure system that's anchored in the eastern section of Wyoming impacting the region there. And we do anticipate with daytime heating and the low level moisture in that region, there will be additional thunderstorm activity along the border of Nebraska, Kansas, as well as Colorado. all the way stretching all the way across to um, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, as well as into Ohio or later on in the evening. We do see some escalating Cape values, which basically means high potential for very, very severe thunderstorms in the region of northeast Missouri into Illinois. So definitely that's one area that we're going to be watching. But of course, you can see from our severe weather map here, we do see that three systems we're monitoring. Tropical storm Claudette as it makes its way across the southeast states, eventually making its way to North Carolina. Sometime around 7 a.m. on Monday, will be impacting North Carolina, making its way off into the Atlantic. But we anticipate that this system will strengthen as it exits North Carolina into the Atlantic. So it's one of those things that we're definitely watching. It will be a depression as it makes its way through Alabama, downgraded. Well, it will be a depression as it makes its way through Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, with a possibility of strengthening as it impacts the body of water off the coast of North Carolina. And then we do see some severe, possibly flash flood, life-threatening flash floods for the region of west central Mexico with a tropical storm Dolores making landfall, and possibly even hurricane condition gusting winds possible as it makes its way close to Manzanillo in off the coast of west central Mexico. So we are definitely watching a lot of different areas for you, but of course our focus is on the heat, with temperatures possibly 116, only about 200 or 300 miles west of San Diego, in the desert park there. Is a very, very serious situation, and pretty much all across in central California is going to be an increased risk of wildfire risk in that region. So we are monitoring a lot of different weather systems here at Bao News Network. We will continue to monitor the progression of Tropical Storm Claudette as it makes its way across the southeast. We'll continue to monitor also the landfall of Tropical Storm Dolores, as well as changing systems in the region of the Great Central Plains, going from Illinois into the region of Pennsylvania. And we can see from our precipitation model here, as this low pressure system makes its way further into the Great Plains, we do anticipate ahead of that, ahead of that trough, that there's going to be increased concern for thunderstorms as it makes its way across into the plain states. And with severe weather alerts, we anticipate increased thunderstorm activity with hail and strong gusting winds. So residents of Nebraska and Kansas should anticipate additional thunderstorm activity as this low pressure system makes its way further into the plain states. So we'll continue to monitor Tropical Storm Claudette as it makes its way across. We can see here from the tornado watch, it will be in effect for a few more hours. We do see severe systems moving into the severe supercell thunderstorms moving into the region of Montgomery, Alabama, Columbus, as well as Albany. So, and of course, as this system drifts east, then that's going to expose more of the Florida panhandle to severe weather. So there is a possibility that this tornado watch will be updated, the zone will be updated to include possibly even Tallahassee, as well as other cities in Georgia as we progress into the afternoon. But as far as the tornado watch is concerned, it's a very, very serious situation, and we do anticipate that more counties will be updated very shortly by NOAA and the Hurricane Center as we get closer into the evening here for our watch of Tropical Storm Claudette, as well as Tropical Storm Dolores. So that is our bow to the weather report for today, at least the first report. There may be an additional report. We'll continue to monitor the Doppler radar for if there are any tornadoes touching down in the region. We'll also continue to monitor the situation if this tornado watch has been upgraded. And as far as to include additional counties, we can see that it is covering many counties along the Florida Panhandle into Georgia and southern Alabama as Tropical Storm Claudette migrates its way off into the southeast states. So, residents in South Carolina and residents in the region of Atlanta should prepare for severe weather as we go into the evening. And eventually, the system, even though it's only moving at about 14 or 15 miles per hour, it is going to bring a lot of severe weather to residents in the region of Georgia and South Carolina very shortly. So hopefully, this video and this weather forecast update will serve to be a warning so that you can actually prepare and be ready ahead of the storm before it actually makes its way to you. By all means, take this time to make sure that you have provisions, and also just in case you lose electricity, you have possibly a backup generator if you're fortunate, and at least batteries for flashlights, and also whatever else you possibly need as we move into as this storm makes its way further into Georgia as well as South Carolina and North Carolina. We do anticipate that it will strengthen as it makes its way into North Carolina, so that is of great concern. And we do anticipate that NOAA will actually update this tornado watch to include more counties in the region of Georgia as Tropical Storm Claudette makes its way through, and it will include more of Florida also. So we will continue to monitor not only the tornado watch, but also the progression of Tropical Storm Claudette. We're going to be keeping a close eye on the fire watch outlook for the Southwest. Some of these escalating temperatures from 110 to 115, 116 are cause for an alarm, especially when water resources and water reservoirs are being depleted to the point where hydro dams and hydro plants are being threatened to shut down because of the lack of resource needed in order to generate electricity for millions of people in the Southwest. So there's a lot that we're monitoring at this time. If you are in any of these high alert heat zones, please make sure that you stay hydrated, and you also take all of the necessary steps you need to make sure that you watch over your health as well as the health of yourself, your family members, and neighbors. We anticipate this heat will stick around for quite some time. We don't see any kind of heavy precipitation on our models here that is going to suggest that it's going to actually ease up a little bit as far as this severe drought and wildfire risk. So we have to make the best with what we have at this time, which is information and knowledge, and hopefully that we'll see some precipitation in the Southwest to try and alleviate not only the lowering capacity of Lake Mead and Lake Powell, but also to alleviate some of the high heat conditions facing millions, over 22 million people in the region of the Southwest who are impacted by lower reservoir levels of Lake Mead and Lake Powell. So we'll continue to monitor weather. Please make sure that you smash that like button if you appreciate good weather content. Share it with friends and family, and also hit that notification bell so that you get the latest updates from Bow News Network for weather in your neck of the woods. And as always, we appreciate all of our subscribers, and please make sure to always bow to the weather. Thank you.